Welcome to marvelous Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, the city of endless beaches and endless fun. A visit to Rio can be the most thrilling, intense, and life-changing trip of your life. But it can also be the city where you lose everything, waking up with a pounding hand and your bank accounts wiped out, like me. If you want to stay out of trouble and not get scammed out of your savings, watch this video carefully. I'm gonna be honest, I prefer not making this video, but since you keep running into trouble and then asking me for help, this might save me some time.
Well, at some point, you just gotta face the facts. I've been in Brazil for over 6 years and made more than 200 videos from all over the country. But the one thing I'm most recognized for is still being the gringo who got robbed 2 times in Rio de Janeiro. And since I aim to please, here are the 30 most common scams and dangers in Rio de Janeiro, so you don't end up a sucker like me.
Let's just say I've learned these safety lessons the hard way. You're welcome. Don't worry, we'll get to the serious stuff soon. I just figured we can start things off a little light. Perhaps my biggest Rio hack of all, getting myself a beach chair. Because after all, coming to Rio, you'll likely spend a decent amount of time at the beach. And for the newly arrived tourists, the Rio beach is a jungle and you are the prey. While you came for the sun and caipirinha, others came for whatever is in your bag and wallets. So what does the chair have to do with any of this? Well, it actually makes you look less of a tourist.
And carrying a chair of your own also comes with some major safety perks. Not only do you save tons of money if you're here for a longer stay. Imagine you're here for a month. That's a lot of caipirinha. The locals here in Rio, they bring their own chairs to the beach. So when you're sitting in your private chair, you will simply look more like a local. Meaning you're less likely to be targeted by scammers, and on top of it, fewer vendors will bug you at the beach, meaning more peace and quiet on the beach. Cheers!
Make this your first purchase in Rio. Well, maybe it makes more sense starting at the very beginning. Few places in Rio are more loaded with scammers than the airport.
Let's go!
Don't take advice from anyone here unless they're officially working with tourist information. There's free Wi-Fi in the arrivals hall to sort out any issue you might have. Do not accept any of the private drivers or the guys posing to be Uber drivers. Just follow the Uber signs out. And stick to Uber always. Yellow cabs are notorious for ripping off tourists and not having change when it's time to pay. This might upset some pro travelers. Smart travel backpacks, ergonomic clothes, and practical waist bags will only cause unwanted attention. Locals dress like they have nothing of value. Step 1 is getting a local pair of Hawaiianas and a simple beach backpack screaming nothing expensive inside. No, you'll never look like a local, but as a foreigner who's been around. And your actual valuables, you're carrying one of these inside your pants.
Always keep your valuables hidden where they're not seen in the first place. Don't advertise your valuables. That's how you dress to not be standing out as a gringo.
Once again, as a gringo, forget about blending in. Your job is to simply not look like an easy target.
Yeah, this one might be tricky to know exactly how to handle, but try not to act like a tourist, especially not your first days before you got your little tan. Walking around the boardwalk taking photos of everything literally screams, I'm a tourist that just came to Rio. And the thieves will love that. As you're standing taking those photos, they are preparing how to best take your phone from you.
Yep, the boardwalk is the thieves' favorite hunting ground because it's the first place new arrivals visit.
And this one is not to take lightly. I know in your home country you're probably wandering around with your phone in hand all the time. People in Rio simply don't do that, and especially not down at the boardwalk of Copacabana or Ipanema. This is where the pickpockets are working full time, looking for a sucker just like you.
If you are this guy, your phone will last about half an afternoon in Rio.
Hello, I'm in Rio de Janeiro. making a little video selfie style and I can't see anything that's happening behind of me or in front of me. I am the perfect victim. Hello everyone, I'm the next guy to get robbed in Rio de Janeiro.
Remember, being a thief is a profession in Rio, and they are good.
Here's another very important one. Always keep at least 2 meters distance to this bike lane here, especially if you're carrying any valuables such as a phone or a bag.
In other words, do the exact opposite of these guys.
At least 2 guys are working 8 hours per day just circling this lane down to Ipanema and back, looking for stupid tourists.
Once they have your phone, they don't just sell it, they break inside and take all they can.
If you desperately need to use your phone while walking on this boardwalk or the boardwalk in Ipanema, try to get away from the flow of people and seek something that can cover up the angle. Personally, if I need to respond to some messages or have a call, I like to stay in this position. Yeah, it's the Swedish Gringo here. No, my schedule is full right now, I'm sorry. Sure, $9,000 per day, sounds fine. All right, see you later.
Next up, figuring out how to not get fooled at the beach. First rule, prices depend entirely on who's asking.
Here's a tricky one. The beach shacks renting out umbrellas and chairs will purposely not show their prices on the menu. Because if they don't show their prices, they can trick you. How to get around this? As you approach them, yell out, "Ei paisal, quanto tá a cadeira?" That way you will automatically get at least a 50% discount.
Yeah, this is the bitter truth. You'll pay more for stuff. Almost all gringos will be suckers at the beach.
We simply have different prices than the locals. Very little to do about it until you actually learn talking Portuguese. But there are a few tricks you should always follow as you come to the beach. Oi, amigo, tudo bem?
Tudo bem.
Quanto custa uma cadeira?
Fazer um preço bom pra você.
Ah?
Promoção pra você.
Qual vai ser a promoção?
A gente aluga aqui a R$20.
20
Vai
reais.
fazer R$10 pra você.
E as caipirinhas?
Caipirinha tem diversos preços aí. Tem de 500 ml, 700 ml.
Pinha colada. Onde tem uma caipirinha?
Caipirinha aqui.
Caipirinha, 25. 50 for the umbrella. So clearly showing the prices for everyone to know.
Recap, ask for prices before and take a photo of the menu for reference.
Vou andar pouco só e depois decidir, tá?
Tá bom.
Valeu, obrigado.
Having that photo will be valuable later when it's time to pay.
And if you feel that they are not giving you the best possible price, simply keep walking. The first vendor is very unlikely to be giving you the best price on the beach. When the second vendor sees you said no to his friend, he's likely to offer you a better price. And honestly, 20 reais for a chair? Never in my life. Those kinds of prices on a Tuesday, mid-low season, just bizarre.
If you want to learn more about how gringos are tricked at the beach, watch this previous video.
34.
20. Tá bom.
Olá! Para os gringos, sempre mais caro, né?
Todo.
I'm actually shocked.
So how much are you actually supposed to be paying? Good question.
It's also good to know that the prices vary from all the different beaches in Rio and the day of the week and the season. As a tourist, the 15 real mark is pretty much the average price for a chair unless you're good at bargaining. And for caipirinhas, never pay more than 30 reais. If you get away with 20, smile and be happy.
There's also a very simple solution to this. Get yourself to Rio's cheapest and most honest beach tents.
42. Just have a look at these prices. Chair, 3 reais. Umbrella, 7 reais. Caipirinha, 7 reais.
Simple translation, a caipirinha costs $2.
Maracujá, limão.
Is this the best caipirinha in Rio? Melhor caipirinha no Rio, né?
Yeah, the best of the beach, yeah.
That's pretty much on average a third of what the other barracas are charging. Get your ass to Barraca 42.
That would be right opposite of the Hilton Hotel at Copacabana Beach.
And just like that, by getting 2 chairs and an umbrella at the right place, you save yourself easily 50 reais.
Doesn't hurt, this is also the better end of Copa Beach.
What's a normal price to pay for a chair in Rio de Janeiro?
Normal price is 10 reais.
And for tourists, it's more?
For tourists, sometimes 20, 30.
As a Brazilian, what do you think about that?
Malandros.
Here's a specific yet valuable tip. Never buy ready-made caipirinhas from the walk-in vendors.
It all pretty much makes sense when you think about it. Would you rather buy a caipirinha from someone who just made it from fresh ingredients, or from a guy who's been walking around hours and hours without selling a single one? They have less taste, they have more added preservatives, and they're like twice the price. Stick to the caipirinha sold by the actual beach kiosks. This is how you get your caipirinha on the beach. Freshly made and served, and the best price in Rio.
Amazing.
10 reais.
The walk-in vendors also have worse customer reviews.
Oh yeah, I forgot to say, the walk-in vendors are also known for charging 4 or 5 times the price. You've seen the videos out there. Stupid gringos paying 100, even 200 reais for one of those caipirinhas. Yeah, don't buy from that guy over there. He takes a pee in the caipirinha. No, he doesn't.
Still considering moving to the world's best city despite this video? Well,
if you're waiting for the perfect moment to buy a Rio de Janeiro apartment, wake up. That moment is likely already behind you.
more than 33% of the properties in Copacabana, Ipanema, and Leblon this year were bought by foreigners.
And prices have already started to rise.
If you want to follow my lead and buy an apartment for a quarter of the price back home while earning 4 times as much, the time is now. Last year, Rio received more tourists than ever, a massive 35% increase from a record year before.
And buying an apartment doesn't just mean you have a place to stay. It also means you get a permanent visa for Brazil. This is now what I do for a living, renting out mine and managing other people's Airbnb through my own Brazilian company. If you want any help finding, buying, or managing an apartment in Rio, reach out.
All right, you've been waiting long enough. Let's get back to the beach.
And here's one that frankly pisses me off. Some dishonest beach shacks might claim that you can't rent an umbrella and a chair unless you order a massive meal or buy things up to a certain sum. This is 100% illegal in Brazil, and the solution to this is very simple. Tell them to
I guess you've figured it out by now, but no, you cannot trust everyone walking up to you at the beach.
So this is not the most popular thing to say, and I do not mean to actually point someone out here, but some of the vendors on the beach are simply criminals. You need to be very careful with from whom you're buying and how you're paying for it. General rule I follow myself: if the vendor can run, I will only pay in cash.
Pay attention now, this one has sadly become way too common.
And absolutely every single time you're buying something from a card terminal, you need to double check the value written on the screen. Unfortunately, it has become a common trend for some vendors to be adding a few extra digits. Always, always, always make sure you see the amount clearly. What I typically do, I ask to actually grab the terminal myself, flip it, and see the value.
Does it look good for you?
Melhor barraca no Rio de Janeiro, nem Copacabana, nem Ipanema, melhor barraca do Rio.
Eu já contei isso.
If the vendor is ever walking away with the terminal, skip it or give him cash.
This is an alarming sign the vendor might be manipulating the card terminal to charge extra money.
We've had news stories of a guy paying 10,000 reais for a simple little piece of cheese. I had some Gringo friends some months back who paid 4,000 reais for a simple jersey. One thing those vendors had all in common: they were only carrying enough goods to be able to run away. Whenever a vendor with light baggage comes up to you wanting to sell, ask if he accepts cash. If he doesn't, he is simply a criminal. Every honest vendor in Rio accepts cash.
Again, almost all vendors are honest, and you following safety protocol benefits all.
Então, eu acho também que não é só bom para ele ver a tela, é bom também para o barraqueiro, porque já aconteceu de eu passar, por exemplo, R$3, eu passar 3 centavos, o cara reclamar: você não, só tem 3 centavos. Eu esqueci de botar o 0. E eu ali endireitei. E já aconteceu também de um cara me dar, passar X e falar: não, não é isso. Porque tem muita gente que não acredita no meu preço.
Não, claro que não, porque isso é o melhor barraca do Rio de Janeiro.
Try making the beach banner a game, it's great language practice.
If you ever get to buy corn for 12 reais, it means you're a local. For a tourist, they are 15 to 20.
Here's two guys who succeeded.
12 reais.
My number one safety advice, team up. In Rio, you're always better off with a friend. Well, almost always.
Dubbelsvänner! Good morning.
Yes.
Where the is my caipirinha? I sent you a text, dude.
Yeah, saw it right now.
He's arriving 1 hour late, doesn't bring a caipirinha. That's the biggest scam. That's the biggest scam in Rio. So here's a guy who's been scammed a lot in Rio de Janeiro. What's the worst scams you've been a victim for?
Buying a piece of espetinho de carne. I paid the double price, the Gringo price, but I was like, I didn't care that day.
How much more do gringos pay here on the beach compared to cariocas?
I think the double at least, but I have been really worse cases than that also. Lots of card scams.
Here it comes. Best 5 moments each day when the caipirinha arrives. It's a jackpot every time. Hero coming in. Jesus has arrived to Rio de Janeiro. This is just one, all right? For not getting scammed in Rio. Yeah. Well, that guy here is still gonna get scammed.
Oh yeah, another safety advice, don't sip getting too drunk at the beach.
I'm gonna do Rica now.
Well, don't forget, we're professionals, just like these scammers.
Once again, I'm not looking to point anyone out here, but basically every vendor on the beach selling cigarettes are also selling other stuff and are practically criminals. It's never a good idea buying their alternative goods, not only because it's absolute garbage, but you might also find yourself in a setup.
And here's one I can almost guarantee you will run into knowingly or not. No matter if you brought the prices down at start, when it's time to pay, these offers are often forgotten on the bill. You need to keep track of your drinks and how much you were supposed to pay for those beach chairs. And no, these guys are not trying to trick us, we're actually trying to give them a tip.
Ele é youtuber, né? Ele tá cortando o vídeo do sempre.
More drinks, I thought we were leaving.
I'm not gonna help you.
I'm just in the game for the caipirinhas. I'm not gonna carry them.
This guy is not a good. He's not a good company, you know.
Cheers! There's been a lot of slander these days. We are not getting drunk. This is only the 6th caipirinha. Slightly tipsy.
Beach out. Now to where the real dangers are lurking, the Rio nightlife. And talking about party, book me to perfect your dating skills to stay safe in Rio and for the perfect wingman and party. Oh yeah, I was supposed to say something about the restaurants first. The diners along the boardwalk are great for vibing and enjoying the view, but they are neither known for good prices nor quality.
Caipirinha! 12 reais, guys! That's like 100 caipirinhas for almost nothing.
True, but instead food will be grossly overpriced. And here's another lesson why you always need to browse through the menu before ordering. Some places catering to tourists will assume you haven't figured out the currency yet and disguise as cheap restaurants, while charging absurd sums.
Some cheap-looking restaurants actually have insane prices when it comes to some of the Brazilian popular dishes, such as the picanha steak.
That's how prices should look.
So instead of going to one of the restaurants you see behind me, invest that money for a real quality steak at a real place with a 30% discount.
Meaning, for the price you saw before, almost 2 people can have an all-you-can-eat buffet at a good place. And please never tip on top of the bill, even if they pretend not. A service fee of 10 to 20% is already included, and not even that is mandatory. When you tip on top, you ruin the market for all of us. And talking about getting things ruined, it's time for the heavy stuff. This is how to mess up your trip and possibly your whole life in Rio de Janeiro. Here we go.
Never sit with an open window and your phone, especially not at night when the screen is lighting up your face. It's unfortunately way too common for someone to reach into the car, grab your phone, and disappear. And once they have your unlocked phone in their hands, they will be taking you for more than the worth of your phone.
As mentioned, thieves in Rio operate on a professional level and will often successfully use the phone to drain your bank account, locked or not.
Yeah, it might not come as a surprise. Muito obrigado, amigo. But most of the very bad things that can happen to you in Rio de Janeiro will happen at night.
And here's one place you'd better pay extra attention. Street parties at Pedra do Sal Monday nights.
Especially if you keep drinking these ones. muito bom. And yes, although it's far, far, far from a common occurrence, when getting your caipirinha here, always split between two different vendors.
Remember safety rule number 1, never go to a street party alone. Nothing screams potential victim as a lone gringo at night.
Be very cautious of strangers being eager to bring you to a private party, buying you drinks, or even inviting you to their apartments.
Luckily, this one is easy, because as a foreign man in Rio, you will never ever be offered anything for free unless something fishy is going on.
Spiking drinks with the notorious so-called Boa Noite Cinderella, or worse, is a known crime here in Rio, and yes, I have fallen victim to it. In short, you'll wake up with no valuables and zero money on your bank accounts.
Here's my full story if you want to dive deep. Scopolamine, the worst drug of all, is slipped into your drink, turning you to a mindless robot. You will gladly give up all your valuables and passwords, waking up totally broke. Yeah, at the street party, think with your brain.
Pedra do Sal Mondays is by far the biggest street party in Rio de Janeiro and an unforgettable experience. But it's also the second most common place in Rio to get things stolen or worse. An absolute minimum for Pedra do Sal is wearing one of these.
Yeah, I know it looks a little awkward, but
not only does a tether greatly help if someone is actively trying to steal your phone, it also works as a deterrent. When the bad guy sees this string connected to your phone, he will most likely choose another victim.
in Brazil, men take the initiative. A girl approaching acting flirty is typically bad news.
Apart from Lapa, you will not find a higher percentage of girls with bad intentions anywhere in Rio de Janeiro. Yep, I keep hearing from regretful victims every other Tuesday morning. Never, and I do mean never, invite a girl back home if you met her at a street party. Unless she's a tourist just like you.
With that said, Pedra do Sal can be a lot of fun. When arriving to a street party, don't step out of the Uber with a drink in hand.
Don't arrive too late, don't get too drunk, and never come alone. I hate to make you paranoid, but as you arrive to the street party, there will be scouts for not so nice people looking for their next victim.
And yeah, about getting home safe.
Sadly, last couple of months, leaving Pedra do Sal has become a hazard of its own. News have reported of several incidents where gringos have been stalked by motorcycles and then violently robbed of all their possessions. Don't enter the Uber at the very end of the alley where the motor taxis are hanging out. Best countermeasure, always leave Pedra do Sal before 1 a.m.
Which is not as bad as it sounds. Pedra do Sal is best between 8 p.m. and midnight anyways. After 1, things start getting weird. And what about Lapa, Rio's former nightlife hotspot, and where the risk of getting into trouble is higher than pretty much anywhere else? If you feel you have to go, check my dedicated Lapa nightlife guide, or just stay away. That, my friends, is all from Rio for now. And don't forget to hit me up for some safety training and ground rules before you arrive. It will make your stay smoother and definitely more fun. And to know what's going on in Rio de Janeiro on a daily basis, don't forget to follow my Instagram account, Swedish Gringo. Also, check description for your copy of my Single Man's Guide to Rio or my Ultimate Rio Travel Guide. And for help with real estate investment and renting out your apartment, check description or reach out to me in an email. Thanks for watching and be safe.